2022. People thought we'd be all futuristic, living on Mars with flying cars, Tom Cruise fighting future crime, and robots who were going to take over the world. In reality, Europe was on fire, crypto was on fire, and apparently people still thought smashing a PS5 makes for good content. I mean, they weren't completely wrong. AI's gotten pretty good. I, for one, am excited for the day where Arnold Schwarzenegger takes my life, wife, and job. It's only a matter of time now. He's already become Van Gogh 2.0. The man's painting 10 masterpieces a second. Before you know it, he'll be painting cities red with blood. On that note of impending doom, I'm here to brighten your day and talk about some of the gaming highlights of 2022.
Technology!
It just keeps on getting better. Who knew the thing which would eventually leave my lifeless corpse in a ditch somewhere could make so many wonderful advancements? Nvidia, the graphics guys, released a new graphics card for the low price of over £1,000. This is pretty funny considering the 3000 series released 2 years prior. It was half the price. At least you'll be getting all these new frame rates, even though the card's bigger and it uses more power. Oh look, my cable's on fire! Nvidia did actually do something good though. Portal RTX. Yes, I know it's a Valve game, but it showcases their new program, which seems like it can just reskin old games. Never again will you have to wallow in sorrow over the look of an old game's graphics. Now with Nvidia, you can just ray trace the shit out of it into 2022. Speaking of games, Unreal Engine carried on being the undisputed champion of the world by updating nanite technology to work on foliage. Now trees are just there. No longer will they disappear and reappear like an estranged father. Now you're free to live a happy life where pop-in no longer exists. VR has also gone a little bit crazy. What kids dreamt of in the 80s has finally come to life. Augmented reality. Say goodbye to your puny screen and say hello to your triple monitor setup. Don't worry, nobody can see what you're doing, you dirty dog you. We all know what you're watching. Watching Cyberpunk, that is. For the first time I can think of, a video game adaptation was actually very good. What's even crazier is that we got a 2-for-1. That's a real deal right there. Riot finally listened to their fan base, and after releasing tons of great animated shorts, they finally released an animated series, and what a surprise. It was very good. Cyberpunk, on the other hand, was a bit different. They released an anime out of seemingly nowhere and pulled the entire franchise from the brink of collapse. I don't even think they expected it. The game's player base shot up by 100,000 a month. Now they're even going to make a Cyberpunk 2. The biggest event of 2022, however, was the leak of GTA 6. Mr. Robot himself strapped right into Rockstar's mainframe, cracking 20 locks, piecing together billions of bytes of encrypted data, saving the world from the lack of GTA 6 information. I mean, come on, GTA 5 released on the PS3, why is it out yet? Well, I got a little bit carried away there. In reality, he just managed to get into like Rockstar Discord channel and found the password. That let him access the game and just leak all the information. It was actually pretty simple. 2022 was a big gamer year. Some good, some bad. There's too many to go through, so I'll just talk about the highlights. Stray, very good game. Cat game, of course it's very good. Internet loved it. Who doesn't want to be a kitty cat? It was a very smart play by the developer. The game didn't overstay its welcome. It was a short and nice little story, and then it went away. Kung Fu Hustle, the game. Very fun, shows you what happens in life. You get old and you die, except he dies multiple times, but you do get to kick someone in the nuts, so that's pretty good. The best indie game of the year for me, Vampire Survivors. It's also kind of the reason why this video is so late. I had to delete the game from my computer. It's just too good. You just play as a little man and walk around. You don't even attack. And then you just pick up things and get more powerful, and then you just end up looking like this. It's so crazy. You're doing so much on the screen. What is all this? Look at, oh, good. God, I'm gonna install this again. I'm gonna play it, and this is gonna come out like another month late. Now, there were some disappointing game releases in 2022. Horizon Forbidden West was a game which quite possibly released at the worst time you can think of. I don't know what drugs Sony were on, but they decided to release the game 3 days after the biggest game of the year. It didn't really make any sense. Of course no one's gonna play it. Saints Row was definitely a Saints Blows. The game looked and played like a PS2 game. Saints Row, such a fun franchise, so many possibilities. I bet the developers are like, oh, there's so many great things we can do. We can do this, we can do that, we can do this. This project's gonna be amazing. But then they got closer to the release date and were like, oh no, do I really have to release this? Oh please God, no, guys, we can't mess this up. Please, no, don't make me release this. Oh God, everyone thinks it's bad. Callisto Protocol, from the creators of Dead Space, was, unfortunately, a very dead game. The game's not scary, it's not very fun, you just mash a button all day to kill the aliens. Who thought being a telekinetic god would be scary? Look at this kid from Looper, you think he's scared? Oh wait, that's a bad example, he was actually always scared in that film. You had the sequel twins, which I think's a bit of a disappointment, but according to this, people seem to love it. I don't know, did you re-release the same game? I don't understand it. You can't keep getting away with it! Where there are disappointing games, there's also the flip side. The best games of 2022. God of War. I can see why Sony didn't give a shit about Horizon Forbidden West. They just slapped down the dictionary definition of a fantastic game. Sony just keep outdoing themselves with these releases. I didn't think they'd be able to top the old release, but they just keep doing it. In all honesty, the game could have easily been Game of the Year. Except, From Software came out of nowhere, delayed the release from 2021 to 2022, and slapped the shit out of Sony with their game. Elden Ring. This is a near-perfect game. It is the accumulation of all of their games and put in a pretty extraordinary package. The world design, gameplay, story, everything's great. Some of the boss fights aren't the best, but everything is pretty much close to perfect as a game. The Game Awards for 2022 was quite interesting. It was basically a big showdown between Elden Ring and God of War. That's not to say there were other awards that didn't stand out. They didn't put my boy in there. My boy's. Why isn't he best indie game of the year? Why is he missing? Oh, he did make it into best indie game debut of the year, although he didn't win. Unsurprisingly, best adaptation was actually a good category this year. And who would have guessed? It's the only year where they've had 2 good adaptations. Like, look at the other nominees. Who cares about Sonic the Hedgehog? I don't even know who that man is. And Uncharted, they didn't even pick the right actor. The only other interesting part is some weird kid managed to sneak onto stage. I don't know how he did it. My ranking for 2022 is right here. Right in the middle. I mean, I've not got anything to compare it against, so it has to go in the middle. What's the point in putting it anywhere else? And yes, I am using a pyramid as my ranking. Who doesn't love a pyramid scheme? They were quite popular in 2022. What's the worst that could happen? Wait, they locked them up?